Hacksaw and Hayward, San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090. We say the best for last. Last thoughts on Final Four game night, NCAA championship night, to the Western Exterminator hotline. Head coach Steve Fisher, San Diego State's been there with the Wolverines. He joins us here on the Mighty 1090.
Hey, Coach, it's great to have you on this morning, and you have unique insights. We remember your days on the sidelines with the Wolverines. Just for tonight, just for demonstration and explanation purposes only, if you were coaching Michigan tonight against Louisville, what kind of game plan would you prepare?
JD, I'm not, and I've only watched them casually. I've watched them live and up front one time Saturday. So I'm not, I don't think, schooled enough to do that. I do know that if you're playing Louisville, ball security is a premium. You have to be able to take care of the ball. You can't give them live ball turnovers where they run out and get baskets. And Wichita State did a great job of that until one 3 or 4 minute stretch. They had 0 turnovers over a 26-minute stretch, then turned the ball over 5 out of 7 times to allow Louisville to get the spurt to come back from 12 or 13 to really win the game. So they got to take care of the ball.
Steve, one of the big issues is that they use the boundary marker, the sidelines, as kind of an extra defender. How do you counteract that? Does your inbounds pass have to be in the middle of the court and use a triangle to weave it up to get it over the 10-second line?
I don't think so, Lee. Wichita, you take a little bit of Wichita's game plan in terms of getting the ball inbounded. They never had a problem getting it in. And what happened in that game, as early on, it was almost like a feeling out process where Louisville didn't really put a lot of really heavy pressure on them. But as that second half got going, they really became aggressive with their trapping after the ball came in. And it's hard to practice that. They come from different angles. They have different people. So I think they'll be able to get the ball inbounded, but then it will be floating passes and being able to get that next pass or clear the floor and get a guy like Burke to bring it up on a guy.
Well, Coach, let's get a little more in-depth about Michigan and the Wolverines' chances tonight. Not expecting an encyclopedic coaching report, but as you've seen the Maize and Blue this year, what do you think they have to do? What can they do well that could perhaps give them an edge tonight against the Cardinals?
Louisville plays a lot of zone, and Michigan knows how to score the ball. They've got exceptional three-point shooters, and they're going to have to make threes. They had Stashkus, the freshman from Canada, who killed Florida with his three-point shooting. He didn't shoot the ball, and then they didn't play him. But they brought off the bench 2 guys, Levert and Albrecht, who combined for 4 threes. So I think you're going to have to find somebody or bodies that can make threes. And then the guy that's really been the key link to their success has been the freshman Mitch McGarry, who was not starting. And then all of a sudden, they're talking about him, saying he might put his name in and be a lottery pick. He's playing so well. He's about 6'10", can run, and he's really a force inside. He had 6 assists against Syracuse's zone. So they're going to have to make shots, and then they're going to have they need an X factor probably, somebody not the big 2 or 3 to make some baskets for them.
Steve Fisher, legendary coach at San Diego State, at Michigan, been to the Final Four. He knows the game. With us here, San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090. We talked about Pitino, the fact that Wichita State kind of built a wall, packed it in, and would not allow Smith nor Siva to get to the basket. I don't know if Michigan can do that, but I thought about Pitino's adjustments and his ability to space it, to get outside corner shots for his forwards that really made the difference in the game. How tough is that to see something not working and have to do something very different?
If you have a good team, you have 2 guys or 3 guys that are your, quote, stars. And for Louisville, Lee, it's the 2 guards, Russ Smith and Peyton Siva. They have been the cornerstones to the success that they've had this year, and they're really good. They're so quick and athletic to get to the rim, and they can get there on zone or man. Smith had an awful shooting game. Even though he wound up with 16 or 17 points, he was 5 for 12 from the free throw line. I think they're going to be able to make a penetration, but Michigan's got some length, and both of those guards are small. What Louisville did in that game to win the game is not unlike what Michigan did. They brought two guys off the bench. Luke Hancock, who was the star of the game. He had 5 threes and 20 points and made huge baskets for them. Then they had a walk-on, Tim Henderson, that came off the bench and made 2 crucial threes, corner threes, like you said, when they couldn't make a basket. So sometimes you need to get help in unsuspecting places to win. And the stars of that team, though, are Siva and Smith, and they're going to have to play well.
Steve Fisher, what is past is prologue. We're looking ahead to tonight's game, but just take us back down the line to the Fab Five, your memories of that team and that title game.
I have wonderful memories. 20 years ago, we had our game, and ironically, the best team going into the Final Four that year was Kentucky, coached by Rick Pitino. They had won 4 games by an average of about 30 points. We beat them in an unbelievable game, an overtime game, to get the victory. And Chris Webber in that game was absolutely sensational, as he was in all the games leading in. Our championship game with North Carolina, the one thing that kind of perplexed me, and I have not gone back and really I haven't watched the game, but the way the officials called the game, in the first half they didn't call anything. In the second half, it was as if they went in at halftime and said, we got to tighten up. And they called everything. And that's the coaches' and players' nightmare. You must have officials that are consistent, and no matter how they call it, if it's loose or if it's close, the players will adjust. But if you change in midstream, that can be problematic. And I thought that happened when we played, but it was the blue bloods of college basketball. It was ourselves, Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina.
Steve, final question. Your season, San Diego State, did not end up as good as it started. That being said, if you can return everybody, and I guess I'll lead you to the question, where is Jamal Franklin emotionally on staying versus trying to go to the NBA? If you can return everybody and you still have 2 scholarships in your pocket, maybe to get bigger, you're excited about the potential next year if Franklin is part of it?
I'm excitedly, regardless. Obviously we would love Jamal to stay. He's got a decision to make. He hasn't made it as we speak. I have been fact-finding, and I think he will probably know more in the next few days. But I'm excited about the future. I'm a little bit nervous. We're losing a lot of players, with whether Jamal stays or goes. But I think the most important thing is that the players you've got continue to get better. We've got 3 players coming in. They need to come in and be able to help us. So in a terrific basketball league, it should be, again, another great season, and I do believe San Diego State will be a big part of the Mountain West hierarchy.
Steve, appreciate the time. Thanks again for being with us. Enjoy the game. We'll talk again as we march through this offseason, sir.
Okay, gang. Thank you.